It's shaping up.
It's going good. We just the first 3 days of camp, and what we're trying to do is just make sure we're putting our identity on tape. We talk about making sure we get lined up and with our communication, our physicality, effort to the ball. So after 3 days, and then it starts to pile up on us, so we got to stay ahead of it in the playbook. And obviously, we got a little heat, so you got to hydrate, do all that stuff. But I'm pleased where we are. I'm going to continue to build, but it's just those things of how we're going to play physicality and effort.
Could you elaborate on identity? When you say identity, what
I just finished on that. So identity, our physicality, right? You're going to overwhelm them with our physicality and our effort. Getting to the ball. And obviously, you got to make those calls and execute your assignment. But whatever it is, if you mess up a play, right, you got to play hard and you got to play fast.
With Coach Bray being the former defensive coordinator, now he's the head guy. You come in. How much of what was here defensively and scheme changed?
Yeah, what we did was we looked at things that I've ran in the past and things that he was very successful at, and we kind of merged both of those, together. There was no need to really reinvent the wheel and start all over. Coach Bray did a tremendous job when he was here as a coordinator. The players are familiar with the scheme, and I saw that, and that's what kind of attracted me, a lot to this job. And then there were some things that I did, in the past and that I learned, but I was like, this would be good, and implementing some of those things as well.
I know it's early, but when you look at the strengths of your defense, what would you say those are?
We're going to continue to work on that. We got some strengths, but, we got some experience, in the secondary. Okay, we got some, experience, in the linebacker room, inside backer. And then D-line, we're working through that. We got some really good talent there with the additions that we had, and on the edges with Olu and Nico. So, the thing is, I always preach, one day it's a strength and the next day it's a weakness, so it's about the consistency of how we execute, so that way we can all be a strength together.
What do you like the most about the secondary?
I just got guys that have been in the scheme and been here for a long time, with Skylar and AJ, J-Rob. There's some guys that have been there, and then just all the young guys and the new guys that we've added in the secondary. We got some good length, we got good speed, so it's a lot of those things that you look at when you're trying to recruit guys.
When you come into a program that you know very, very well, that has had a lot of success on the defensive side of the ball, just how do you kind of take that, being a new coach, when you're coming into a program with a lot of success, how do you be able to develop goals to kind of make that area even better? Like, how have you kind of handled that?
Really, just one play at a time, and again, it just goes back to the identity that we want to put on tape. Because football is football, and I like to go to saying football is not complicated, people complicate football. Everybody's playing some form of the same defense, but it's how you play, if you're going to play man, how you play man, and how you're going to execute the man techniques, be disciplined with your eyes, run to the ball and tackle and be physical. So we just kind of, I emphasize those things, and we do that as a group, so it doesn't matter what we call, right? We want our guys to play fast, but we got to be physical, and we got to be relentless to the ball.
How would you describe what Thomas Collins brings to that game?
Thomas is very twitchy. Yeah, he's very twitchy, kind of hard to block. I see him as a guy, when he gets vertical and he's in that attack style and getting vertical, he's hard to block when he's getting off the ball. So that's my best way I would describe him.
And what are you working on with him? Is it like the secondary third moves, that kind of stuff, or is it just this point because he's so young, everything?
Just everything. You got to develop the whole person, and the whole player. But his biggest attribute is his get off and his twitch. So when he's able just to line up and get off and get vertical in the gap, he's really good at that. And then it's about, when we got movements, to show that twitch, show your quickness on your moves when we call a movement inside there, so that way you can, be quicker than that guard or that tackle.
In that sense, does he remind you of anybody you've worked with in the past?
I don't know that.
Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind.
You ever grill him on Sweden?
Oh, we had a good talk. We had our bowling event back in the spring. He and I sat next to each other evening, and we was talking about Sweden. So it was interesting. I didn't know that he was from Sweden, but we kind of talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
You mentioned
what was
some of
your
those.
what was his bit? What was your takeaway from his talk
Well,
about?
he was just saying just how the people there are really nice,
Yeah.
and then just sometimes things aren't as pleasant.
Yeah.
In the States,
Fair enough.
unfortunately.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You talked about some of those veterans really being a key factor for you, making it a lot easier. Do you feel like, especially now that fall camp has started, they've kind of been almost like player coaches and able to kind of bring all the younger guys along?
I would love that. I would love that. But no, there's still always something to teach. And that's what we're here for. As coaches, you're a teacher. And I think Coach Gunderson does a great job with our offense. And they do a lot of different things that challenge us, challenge our rules, challenge our eyes, challenge our calls. So there's always something to teach. And as a coach, you have to continue to develop those things, whether it's something within the scheme or something within your technique.
Are you close to getting them, maybe they're there, to reacting rather than thinking?
I think for the most part, yes, I think they are reacting. But then again, there's, as you go through the playbook, then there's certain things that you focus on more, and that, it's our bread and butter. So they'll be reacting there. But then you got to throw a wrinkle because it's something that you have to put in down the line for an opponent where, okay, we got to think about this a little bit. And then that's where, as a coach, we got to do a great job of saying we don't want them thinking. We want them to just play fast and react. But we got to get them up to speed on those things that we may have to use. But I think they do a great job of just playing fast and reacting right now.
What have you seen from Skylar in particular? I know he's coming off a tough injury, but the guy who's had a lot of success at this level and a lot of success in this program.
Skylar's a general. I mean, he knows his calls. He knows his alignments. He's a student, a very good student of the game. He's there early every meeting, and he's sitting there, and you can tell when he's looking at you with the intent that he's really listening. And when he gets out here, he works. That's what I see out of him. He treats himself like he's a pro right now.
Is he a guy who could play multiple spots, or do you kind of plan to maybe stick him in one spot and keep him there?
Not just him, but yes, I do believe Skylar can play multiple spots. Safeties, they play left and right, so they get some action at field and boundary. And then, when we get to a dime package, we're going to be looking at, those guys who are going to play dime. He's possibly one of those guys that can go down there and send them on a blitz, match them on a tight end, call your normal defense, especially him as the dime back, the will backer in there. But we got a number of guys that we have within our defense that have some position flexibility.
Who else do you like at that dime spot so far?
Haven't gotten there yet.
When you look at film of this stuff, what's the first thing you sit down? First thing you look for?
More film.
Film of practice or film of what?
Yeah.
When you're trying to work on getting guys better and improving all that, where do you first go?
So first, we look at, okay, what is the call? Okay, did we set the umbrella? Are we making a tight call up there at the linebacker and setting the front right? Okay, is the safety setting the umbrella and making our components of whatever we got to call on half side or whatever that is. And then now, did we get a line properly? And then our eyes. And then the plays. Okay, did we execute our assignment? Boom. Okay, are we running to the ball? Are we fitting in the right position? And then after that, just going back to running the ball. When we're running the ball, are we getting down in the proper body position to make those tackles and then taking those opportunities of takeaways when those are available? So it becomes a cycle of that over and over and over.
For you, what role does competition kind of play in fall camp?
It's competition every day. You're competing against the offense, and then also you really just competing against yourself. How can you get better? Every day and improve yourself from the previous day. But there's going to be different as we go in fall camp. There's going to be different situations. We talk about competition. Right now we're in normal down and distance, but then it becomes mixed downs, like third down. And now you start talking about football, IQ and understanding the difference between a third and short and a third and long or field position. So we have to make sure we stay sharp and we're competing within those situations as well.
Yeah,
Last question.
In the position groups, how would you say, what positions that come to your mind are really close between one guy and another guy? I know we got a lot of fall camp left, but what positions are you kind of excited to see battle it out these next couple weeks?
All of them, because we're going to need all of them. We never know. Sometimes a guy get a cramp in the heat or unfortunately, hopefully nobody gets hurt and the next guy got to go. So we want to develop all of them.
Thanks, Coach.